Morning guys, and welcome to Lord C's Garage. Early start this morning for probably what will be the last outdoor show of the season. Driving to meet up with a couple of friends who've got Renault Spiders, and we're going to convoy down to Bicester Scramble at Bicester Heritage, so let's do this. So this is my old schoolmate Greg's Spider that he's bought. A little bit tatty as it had been under a cover for many years, and he's gradually bringing it back, restoring it, making it roadworthy. A number of issues to sort on it. See his headlamp at the moment, but still a nice basis to work on. So Vintage Alvis is out en masse today. Really good collection of them. Don't think I've ever seen so many in one place. That's about as shiny as they get. Always get drawn to a period race vintage car. This Alvis no exception. Even better, it's got my reg on the car. And of course, glad to see the fire sections here, just in case. These are mega Evo Mitsubishi Shogun, or Pajero as they're known. Full rally spec. Absolutely stunning. I know the garage I can't afford, but certainly an MP412Z would be one of the cars that I'd put in there. For me, it's the real crossover between the F1 and the current day McLarens. And I think as a modern day sports car, this would probably be my choice actually. Carbon fibre tub, alpha, good looking car. Some quite interesting headlamps on it. I'd rather have seen those a bit smoother personally myself, but my, and another one. I love the way that all the nuts and bolts are actually lock wired on these cars. Look at the use that steering wheel's had over time. Nice old Bristol here, don't see many of those around. Can hardly hear that one. In terms of mixer cars, this lovely Jetta. I've got to admit the VW guys always do it right. Even got my first car here, I thought was so cool in the day, and all my mates were rocking around in minis. Obviously not quite as old as this, but that column shift was great. You could shift really quickly in it. It's amazing how cars at the time that weren't actually particularly appealing, as they get older, suddenly quite nice. 308 GT4 here, looking really nice and Hangar 136 cars. And here you go, one of the weird and wonderful machines here today. Closed old vintage bike. Nice 206 Maxi rally car. And couldn't miss putting this one in the video. One of our faves that's been at a lot of the shows, including the NEC with us this year. Do you know, this car park is like reliving my dad's garage. Series 1 E-Type there, albeit 4.2, dad's was a 3.8. Lotus Turbo Esprit. Again, Dad had one of these, which was on an F plate from memory, which was one of the Charge Cool versions. Frog Eye Sprite up there, as I already spoke about. 911 turbos, which Dad had back in the day as well. It really is. Oh, and in fact, 528 IBMW was one of Dad's dailies at the time. So, yeah, really is a real blast from the past. It's certainly drawing some attention here at the show. See V8 tucked away in the back. It's certainly a good looking car. Jackie Stewart's March F1 car. We weren't quite old enough to park here with the Racing Puma. They say pre-90s, but some really nice Porsches. Really good mix of cars here. Cheeky little Aston poking out there. It's very nicely used, which is nice to see. Here we go, Aero Morgan. Obviously a new one, but still got that vintage look to it. The Frog Eye Sprite, which again, another car that I renovated with Dad when I was younger. We never quite finished it, but had a lot of fun in that when I was a youngster. Some beautifully concours Bentleys here, but you can't beat one that's used and slightly ratty. Look at that, all the competition stickers in there. A little bit earlier than Dad's car, but Another one I nearly bought actually was a naturally aspirated one of these. Unfortunately at the time, Mum got in the way and wouldn't let me buy it. Here you go, proper workshop for the Heritage Skills Academy. Just what I'd like at home. Looks like a Jag cylinder head over on the side there. Actually can't believe it's October today. Sun's out, absolutely beautiful. Glad I haven't got my cap on. But lots of people out enjoying themselves. And a real mix of cars. Even bag Mercedes here today. You see just looking around, Alfa Romeo, Riley Alf. So a slightly inconspicuous Aston Martin here. With all the restorations in the world, this is how a Landy should look. Beaten, battered, but mechanically perfect. So obviously there's a big trend at the moment in terms of electrifying classic vehicles. We've got this E-Type here. I'm not sure I honestly get it. I drive an EV every day and it's great, but to be honest, you know, part of a classic car is the smell, the feel, the clunkiness, and I'm not sure this really does it for me. I think for me, this would be the one I'd take home. Beautiful old Bugatti.
No, you were either.
You see, these are really the pinnacle of engineering at the time from the 1920s, but absolutely awesome into every little detail it's made with. And then with the boat tail to finish it off. Nothing false on this car, every little bit of it works and does something, and I think that's the one I'd take home today. Something special about cars that actually get used. You see these, no one's scared of taking these out in the wet at all, but still got that period look, certainly proper race cars. The nice thing with Scramble is you can actually go inside the units, so you see all the Bentleys being prepped in here. Great work going on. Look at that for some engineering. Just look at the length of that engine. Huge. And one for Darryl Wheeler. I know he's a big fan of these, so I'll capture this on the video for him. Everyone's mum had a Metro like this at some point. One for Dad, like our little Doris. Obviously vented boot because they have our 595 engine in it. Interesting to shoehorn a Cosy into a Moggy Minor. And to show what a terrible father I am, when my son was about 3 years old, I bought him one that looked just like this, if not a bit worse. My wife thought it was absolutely mad, but we restored it together. Having said the Alfa's probably the modern car I'd have. I'm also a big fan of these, but obviously similar formula. A very pretty looking car, Alpines. It's amazing how you can walk round and round and then something just out the corner of your eye catches you. Pretty sure it's a wrap, but beautiful looking Ferrari. Now if there's one way to do an early Porsche, this is it. Very pale blue, with all the period gear on it. As the people start leaving, still spotting some little gems which, having walked around several times, still haven't seen before. Oh my gosh, look at this old Bentley. Proper chitty chitty bang bang style. One for the Merc lovers out there, 280 SL. That's one way to ride on a vintage car. Wow, look at this lovely NSX. Absolute minter. There you go, nice little Cooper wrap. Had the rear light change on it. Obviously no external door hinges, but still looks the part. I do always gravitate to the Z cars. Look at these engines, absolutely stunning. Now that's a workshop. Recognise that D-Type? May actually be one of the heritage cars. So saying about Dad's car, this was exactly the 911 that Dad had. From memory, I think his was on a G plate at the time, with the proper whale tail on the back of it. Amazing that you can take a rusty old base like this and turn it into something so special with all the cars here. Little MG here, just hiding around in the sunshine. This is a little car company and really takes toys to a new level. I was saying earlier on, this car here set you back somewhere in the region of £38,000, but actually in terms of being close to the original in scale, they are absolutely stunning. Being a bit of a Jaguar guy, lovely C-type here. But again, properly used, working car. Mille car here. I think probably without doubt the oldest car here, 1903 Vauxhall. And another one for Mr. Wheeler. There you go, early Jaguar as it was, lost in Swallow. Swift and Swallow sidecars, which latterly became SS and then Jaguar. Here you go, some of the vintage stuff here. Lovely old plane. Nice thing is, a bit like some of the classics here, actually gets used, which is great. There's plenty of these here. Lovely Bentley. Past this on the way down. Again, this will be in my dream car garage. Beautiful Integrale, and another one just poking out behind. Okay, here we go. F40. Lots of people's dream car, but for me, I'm sorry, it just doesn't do it. I'm not a fan of the non-smooth lines with things like the exposed catches and how the back bumpers actually bolted on the car. Now, I had the pleasure of driving one of these actually when I was only in my early 20s. Dad borrowed one from a friend. Most insane, well-handling car I've ever driven. Here you go, very similar to our Singer 34 car. It's actually got the same wings on as ours. Interesting how they've dealt with the dash in this car, bringing it forwards just a little bit, and probably to give it a little bit more leg room because it is tight in there. There we go, mid-engined Renault 5 turbo. Really fond of some of these 911s and the way they're done now in a bit of a resto mod way. One for the Ford gang. Lovely and nicely engineered Mark 1 Fiesta XR2. So here's one for Hugo at caronline.tv YouTube. Hopefully he's got a left-hand drive one of these soon, so we're just going to do a trip home in the Racing Puma, following my friend in his Renault Spider.